record to this computer. And here we go. So what's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to spend this Tuesday evening with you as we go over the basics of gut health. So kind of just a general outline for this evening. Run for about 30 minutes or so. I'm going to give a quick overview of gut health, the basics of it, and then I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Mike Healy, who's going to talk about his experience with some products that he's used that have really been beneficial for his own gut health and overall health. As we'll talk about, a lot of gut health is connected to a lot of things. And Dale will kind of talk about those products a little bit more that Mike used with great success. And then, we'll go home a little bit more happy and healthier than when we started. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Rob Carney. I'm a certified holistic lifestyle coach from the Boston area. And I've been studying the world of health and nutrition since I was about 17. So about 10 years or so. And after working with a lot of nutritionists, 2 different holistic nutritionists in particular, taking classes at my college, I really started to hone in on the fact of the importance of gut health. And graduating from school with a degree in sustainable food and farming, recognizing the importance of, organic foods, healthy soil, different microbes, and how all this is so interconnected. So the basis of the gut is that from your mouth to your anus, everything in between there is your gut. And that's going to be the effect of your digestive system. So, to start at the most basic level, we chew our food, that breaks things down. We get saliva on there, which helps to break things down. That goes into our stomach, and things like, hydrochloric acid start to break things down. And then we have our probiotics. So those are the bacteria in our gut. And just like anywhere in the world, there's a balance of good and bad bacteria. So essentially, I'm sure you hear the yogurt companies do a great job of talking about probiotics. So basically, we want to add more of those beneficial bacteria to our gut, as that's where about 80% of our immune system is coming from our gut. A lot of our hormones, neurotransmitters, things like serotonin are developed in the gut. It's a happiness chemical. So by really taking care of our gut, it's going to really spill over to many other aspects of our life. So when it comes down to taking care of the gut, we want to really make sure we're putting good fuel into our body, because if we're having negative input, we're going to have a negative output. So positive input, positive output. So the most basic level is going to come down to putting in good fuel, organic foods, things that don't have pesticides, because if we have pesticides that are designed to kill bacteria in the soil and they're spraying those on our food, then we're eating that food, even though it's not killing the plant. And some argue, oh, if it's not killing the plant, how is that going to hurt me? But the plant is still absorb that. And just because it's resistant to that, that destructive chemical, we have all these bacteria in our gut, which are now getting destroyed. So that's where the challenge comes in, where most of our immune system is benefited from, having these bacteria, our hormones, neurotransmitters, etc. We want to really ensure that we're taking care of those bacteria in the gut and not, not destroying them. So eating more organic foods, avoiding chemicals. When you see those little yellow signs on the lawn that people have when they're putting down their little pesticides, I always walk to the other side of the street as much as I can, get away from those. And drinking high quality water. So that's a big thing that, most of us don't even drink enough water as a whole. Many people in the US especially are very dehydrated. And then a lot of the water that we are drinking is usually tap water, which has a lot of contaminants from the pipes that they're running in. Sometimes we have pipes that are decades old, so they're kind of leaking some of those heavy metals in there. And a lot of our waterways also are polluted just from years and years of, chemical runoff, things from agriculture farms kind of leaking into the soil. So that's where we want to make sure, again, with our fuel, we're getting healthy organic foods and getting clean, preferably spring water. And if you don't have access to spring water, a good filter, a Berkey filter is really good. But yeah, you can go to findaspring.com to find spring.com. That's really how simple it is to find good spring water near you. So that's kind of my first suggestion, is focus on getting the good inputs. And, kind of going back to the gut, the little structure of it is, as we're getting into our intestines and some of our organs, we have these little hair-like structures called villi. And on those villi, there's microvilli, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller. So we got these little hair-like structures, and that's what likes to, the food gets on there, and that's what kind of starts to break it down a little bit more. And over time, as you put things like processed foods in there and like the chemicals we're talking about, that's slowly just wearing down these villi. So rather than them, being kind of touching the food, they're really shrinking, and then a lot of food's getting passed by without breaking down as easily. So by repairing the gut, adding more probiotics, and detoxifying some of the chemicals in the body, things like glyphosate, which is the leading chemical in Roundup, and many other herbicides. So really learning to take care of ourselves with the basics of movements, or basics of fuel and nutrition, and then doing things like healthy movement. So if we're moving our body, we're strengthening our core, strengthening our lower back, our chest, all these areas that are, protecting our organs. When we're strengthening those areas, it's actually allowing our body to do a better job at to break things down, because it's one, protecting the organs more, and also strengthening the muscles around the organs, which can help with digestion. And just like they always say, after you're getting a heavy meal in there, you go for a light walk. Moving just helps to get things rocking and rolling. So getting a healthy movement session in there, I find to be very helpful for my digestion. And things like sleep, inflammation is a really big challenge for a lot of people in our culture today. We're overstressed, so stress is really inhibiting our ability to digest. And that's when we're in that sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight response. So our body is shutting down our digestion. And that's where, a lot of people, when they're feeling stressed, they either overeat or they lose their appetite. And I'm one of the people that loses an appetite. And I know there's a lot of people that then binge eat, because again, your neurotransmitters, your hormones are out of balance, because your digestive system is being shut down. So your body's kind of going haywire. So some people try to fill that, that hormonal imbalance with food or lack of food. So, kind of just to recap a little bit, starting with fuel, putting good inputs is going to equal good outputs. Organic food, healthy water, clean water, and then detoxifying the gut, getting rid of some of those chemicals, which we'll talk about shortly. Moving the body, making sure that we're getting things moving, avoiding stress, sleeping well, recovering. So that's kind of the basis of the gut health side of things. And then I know there are a lot of people that don't know where to start. They say, all right, so I want to heal my gut. I take probiotics. I'm drinking kombucha or eating yogurt or eating healthier, but they're still not seeing some results. So I'm going to bring on Mike to share a little bit about his experience using some of the Purium products. Talking about the Biomedic, the super probiotic, which does help remove glyphosate. And I'd just love to hear your experience, Mike, using the product and some of the effects that you've noticed.
Yeah, Rob, for sure, dude. And thank you for having such a strong understanding of basics like that, man. If I would have met you more than a year ago, my life would have, you would have helped me jump over some pitfalls. But specifically, like 6 years ago when I was in college, which is probably where I'd start of just, binge drinking and putting in lower quality input, chicken tenders, curly fries, chips, breads, sandwiches, and just feeling like, not even from the hangover, but just extreme hunger. Like I was my stomach was gonna eat itself and implode every 3 hours, and then getting my meal and just kind of getting full like super quickly, and just knowing like this is not going to tide me over for 3 hours, and then just kind of repeating that cycle until later in my college career when I started playing rugby, and my buddy's like, hey, let's try fruits and vegetables. I was like, okay. He's like, we want to be better rugby players, so we need to fuel ourselves better. I was like, okay, I'm down. And it was just a huge change of me being able to survive going longer periods of time and being able to eat, and then just crushing a big bowl of just some good stuff. But to get a little graphic, I just something was still a little off, mainly like when I'd go to the bathroom, it just something didn't feel and look healthy, and I was just spending a little too much time cleaning up after it. So I just figured, it's going to work itself out. I'm eating spinach, like it's going to be okay. And so I end up graduating and stop playing rugby. So I have to find a new kind of balance of everything. And I'm still working through this stuff, and I'm still having these issues. And, occasionally I eat something, and it's not so much a bloated feeling, but I would just feel stuff just not, it would just feel like it was not working well together in my system. And I'm like, I'll figure it out, something, whatever, it'll be fine. And, I run into Rob about a year ago on the internet, and I start working for Purium, and I'm drinking some Power Shake and a few other things. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good. And I hear all this talk about this biomedic, and I'm like, okay, I'll try this out. I get a 2-month supply, and I was like 2 weeks in, I'm just like, whoa, like everything just kind of firms up downstairs, and spending less time in the bathroom, which for me is just quality of life. It just goes way up. So I'm like, okay, right on. I'm digging this. I end up getting off of it and just trying out some other stuff and playing around with food combinations and different acidity levels, not necessarily mixing like pineapples with meats and stuff like that. And that's something I got from jujitsu. But I'm just doing all this trying to figure out how to not have this weird sensation in my stomach and in the toilet. And listening to Dale talk, honestly, I was like, dude, like, I'm gonna try this ultimate lifestyle transformation. And I'm working for the company, but I'm like, this is some hokey nonsense, and I don't know about cleanses. I'm like, I'll try it. I do it with my buddy last month in November. And dude, it was nuts. Like no hunger pains, like everything's solid. Again, just short, consistent trips to the bathroom. And that's still even like a month afterwards. Like I'm still feeling great. Like I don't have these issues. I don't have to like lay down after a meal. And it's like, I was waiting for the big, like ultimate lifestyle transformation. And it was just like super subtle. And like I didn't even realize until like a few weeks afterwards. And I'm like, dude, like what? I didn't even like notice, like it's just like an answer that came to me that I never even was totally aware that I needed, but it just fits so well, and it was just so casual, and it's just, yeah. So it's been very nice, and I'm very stoked on it, and I'm very appreciative that I can work with these guys who show me this crazy stuff, but that are really here to help me. So I'll throw it back to you now, Rob, and you can continue crushing, walking us through this call.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you sharing there. And definitely, yeah, it's a common challenge for a lot of people. And it's not always the most glorious topic to talk about, but, the bloating, the indigestion, the trips to the bathroom, which may be a little bit of an uncomfortable situation for some people. But, at the end of the day, I was someone as well who would be hungry but full. It was a very weird sensation of feeling like I was hungry, but I was still digesting my last meal. My digestive system was just out of whack. And that's really what it came down to. And that was mine. I get a little bloated, and, I'm a thin guy. So I'm this thin guy with a bloated belly, and I'm hungry, but also full at the same time. And I had to do something. And that's where, changing my lifestyle really made a big difference. And that started with the food I was putting into my body. And so that's where, like you said, the most common solution that I found for the majority of people is the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation Pack. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing that. Because, like you said, even for people that are generally healthy, it can just take it to the next level. And for the people that aren't as healthy or really want to lose some weight, which, weight gain is also a great sign of, dysbiosis within the gut. So by cleansing out the gut, releasing toxins, because we store toxins in fat cells. So the fat cells encapsulate the toxins, which is a great mechanism for our body to survive, because it's better to put them away and store them than to, let them wreak havoc on the body. So that's where a lot of people will experience a lot of weight loss, a lot of mental clarity. Again, coming back to that gut-brain connection. So without me getting too excited about this pack, I want to turn it over to Dale who's had a lot of great experience. He's helped so many people through this 30-day transformation. That Dale, I just want to pass it over to you to share, a little bit more about what it is and some of the results that you've seen from the people that you've helped walk through it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rob. And thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody, for being here. So I just want to make sure my connection is coming through solid right now.
You're good.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, with the ultimate lifestyle transformation, it really is that. It's a lifestyle transformation. And what most people, including myself, love about it is that it's so convenient to get this nutrient dense fuel inside your body. And the program is formulated in a complete way. Like we'll say holistic, right? Like multiple systems working together in this program. And it really does all start with the gut. And that's where all healing starts, just how you were saying, Rob. And what I love about this program in particular is that it's basically doing 3 things for you throughout the 30 days. And another thing I didn't like about the program before I did it was that it was 30 days. I was scared. I was like, what, 30 days? I've done like a 3-day juice cleanse. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? There's no way I could do this. And one thing that I have to tell everybody that's about to embark on this journey is that it's not like a juice cleanse. You're not starving yourself. You're actually learning how to eat better and make better choices throughout this 30 days. And then you bring in and you incorporate these 5 superfood products into your daily schedule. So when I learned more about it, I was like, okay, I want this. I could do this. And with the Biomedic, I mean, this is like literally the only product on the market, and Purium's the only company that's even ventured to go and try and extract glyphosate, which is the toxic herbicide that Rob was talking about, found in Roundup, from the body, because our bodies can't eliminate that. So if you think about your body and those little villi inside your gut trying to do their job, the glyphosate really acts as like almost like a wax coming over those hairs, so they can't do their thing. So your capability of actually absorbing the nutrients from your food it's just not happening. And that's what I was experiencing. I was eating really healthy. I was eating all organic. I was doing all this good stuff, but the glyphosate in my body, I didn't even know what glyphosate was. I wasn't getting what I knew I should have been getting. So when I took this on, that was one of the first things that really, I was like, okay, I know this is something that's going to help me out. So once you clean your gut, within the first 10 days, you're taking the Biomedic. You're taking the Biomedic along with your other products. And then your gut gets cleaned out. And then when you take in, for example, the Power Shake, which is like your meal replacement, just nutrient dense greens. It's basically the equivalent of, a super food salads times 6 in one serving. Basically, that's the way I like to put it. And that is actually going to get absorbed now. So now your cells are getting nourished. Now that's very important to understand, because before, when I was eating, and most people when they're eating the standard American diet, their cells, so because your cells are going, hey, feed me like good stuff that's going to nourish me, and it's just not happening. So once this starts to happen, now your cells are getting nourished, and then that hunger goes away. So people start to eat less, and you're switching up what you're actually eating. You're doing like organic goods. You're eating healthy lifestyle meals is what we call them. And then you're incorporating these Power Shakes. And then for your protein, we have the Super Amino 23s, which are basically non-soy legumes in the form of these tablets that are absorbed into your muscles within 23 minutes. And it's amazing, because you don't necessarily have to go to the gym to build muscle, maintain muscle. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this ultimate lifestyle transformation. I'm going to do all these push-ups every day. And after the first 10 days, I just stopped doing it. I don't know. It wasn't like I consciously stopped, but next thing you know, like 15 days in, you start to see it. Like I was looking in the mirror, like, oh, damn. Okay. Like I really wanted a 6-pack back, and it was happening. And I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't working out. I was literally it was like, people say abs are made in the kitchen. It was like that happening. So it was really powerful. And so it's a complete program, and it's all started, in your gut. But when all those things come together, it really creates I like to use this analogy. If you're on a radio station, an old school radio station, or you're tuned trying to radio station that you want, and it's just fuzzy. That's like most people. That was me. That was Mike. That was Rob. Probably call. You're like, what is it? I just can't get to that right tune. And then the ultimate lifestyle transformation, just boom, it puts you right in center on that tune where it's literally the frequency. And you're just like, wow, this is exactly what I want. It's an optimal state of being. And then throughout that month, you have all of these healthy habits rather than going for those bag of potato chips. You're like, you know what? I'm going to have this avocado with some like sprouted bread or something, or I'm going to make a nice little salad. And it's powerful. Once you get your health back, you have more energy, and so powerful that I love taking other people through this adventure, because people don't really think it's going to happen in 30 days. And like Rob was saying, it's not a weight loss program, but a side effect of being healthy at an optimal state of health is that you're going to shed some pounds. And last month one of my best friends just did it 2 months ago, and he lost 20 pounds. And I'm just like, wow, you really don't know, like, you even have that to lose. I lost 15 pounds and I don't have a lot on me, but it was all inflammation. And that inflammation really was showing up in my face too. Like, I was getting some red patches and stuff. I couldn't figure it out. And since I've been taking Purium products, that has substantially, it's not completely, I'm not going to say it's healed completely, but I could see the difference. Like, wow, like I could shave now and not have like this crazy like redness and pustulating stuff coming out. So that was a big thing for me. And another thing I wanted to talk about was it has 5 products, right? I went over 3 of them. So there's 2 more. There's a Parasite Cleanser, which is called the Super Cleanser. And these are just powerful herbs that extract the parasites from your body that cause more inflammation and bloatingness as well. And then there's also, for like the reparation of your cells, it's called the Apothecary, which is a play on words for apothecary, right? And basically what it is, it's just one ingredient. It's tart cherries from Italy, organically grown. And cherries are the only fruit that actually induce our body's natural melatonin. So the pineal gland is the hormone that produces that. It induces production of melatonin, which, for those of you that don't know, which I didn't know either, melatonin is what gives us that great REM sleep, that deep sleep. And not only just for us as a whole body, but our cells, they need that too. Like, we have trillions of cells that are just like us. They have jobs to do. They need to get fed. They need to get nourished. They need sleep. And that's how they repair. So throughout this complete program, your cells are getting detoxed. The toxins are coming out. They're getting nourished, and they're able to repair. And it's like rinse and repeat. And then throughout the 30 days, transformation happens. It's amazing. So as you could tell, I'm pretty passionate about it, but I'll give it back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Dale. Yeah, that was a great description. So just like Dale said, it's a 30-day package that's all built in with a schedule all made for you. So there's a few different options in there, but the general gist of it is, 10 days of doing what you're already doing in terms of food, really making the shift towards organic if you're not already, implementing the products, and there's 10 days of more of a strict diet. And you can say, 10 days, that's a long time, but at the end of the day, if it takes 10 days to really clean up the gut and really get rid of some issues that maybe are chronic and have been around for years, to me that 10 days is well worth it, and has definitely been well worth it for a lot of the people that have embarked on this journey. So that's it. And then the last 10 days generally are kind of, as Dale said, taking these lessons that we've learned throughout our journey in the first 20 days, continuing to use the products and reintegrating a lot of these new tools that we learned. So at the end of the day, the gut is arguably the most important part of our being in terms of, it produces our immune system, our neurotransmitters, our hormones, and it allows us to digest our food, because you can be putting the best food into your body, but if you can't absorb it and assimilate it, you're just kind of spending a lot of money. So for me, I always say that the best place to start in terms of health is, first of all, going with stress, getting rid of that stress, because stress is causing so much damage to so many of us. And one of the best ways to target that stress, and especially sleep issues as well, as Dale mentioned with the melatonin production, a lot of these other hormones that are being produced, our immune system really to repair, is to really focus on targeting our gut as an area that needs some attention, because most of us have abused it. If you're anything like me, have abused your gut over some time of eating not the best foods as we're growing up, being exposed to some of these chemicals. So at the end of the day, I want to thank everyone for being here and just let you know that, please reach out to the person that invited you here. Can share some more information about the program, see if it's a good fit for you. It's not the best fit for everyone. Some people aren't ready to make that commitment, and that's okay. So we have a smaller pack as well called the Daily Core 4. And that's basically a way that if you feel you can't commit to a 30-day transformation, you can dive into the Daily Core 4, and that's a great bundle. And you can do the Daily Core 4, see some results, and then the next month say, hey, whoa, all right, that was really good. That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Now I'm ready to do the ultimate lifestyle transformation. So if you're ready to hop in right now, reach out to the person that invited you here. They have a gift card they can share with you for 25% off, which is a pretty darn good discount. And then get yourself ready to rock for the new year. Because obviously with the shipping delays right now across the world with everything, if you want to get started in January, I'd say, reach out to the person here. They'll get you all set up and get you rocking and rolling so you're ready to go in January. And either way, let's drink some cleaner water, eat some healthier food, stress a little bit less, smile more, get those happiness hormones going, relieve that stress, focus on repairing the gut. Dale and Mike, I want to thank you guys both for sharing your stories and sharing the great information that you have. I want to thank everyone for being here and hope you all have a healthy, happy holiday. And feel free to reach out to us with any questions. So thank you all for being here and have a beautiful evening.